just
So maybe
is going.
Hello, and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the University of North Florida's School of Communication and the CW17. I'm Kayla Chenard. We're here each month with stories about life on the First Coast. Leading off this month, the Riverside area is one of Jacksonville's many gems where you can escape reality and slip into paradise. Inside Jacksonville's Rebecca Hewitt introduces us to Riverside and all of the amazing things the area has to offer.
The Riverside area here in Jacksonville is the perfect place to spend the day for anyone who appreciates art and a good cup of coffee. If you are feeling trapped in quarantine and need something to do, you can head over to the Cummer Museum of Art and Gardens to browse the numerous exhibits. Not only is the museum filled with incredible art, but they also have a cafe where you can grab a snack if you get hungry. There are many cafes and coffee shops in the area with a broad range of food and drinks listed on their menus.
We all source from local places, like our food and our milk and our pastries, everything's local. And I think people really like that. I feel like there's a pendulum swinging towards people enjoying the time and craft that goes into your cup of coffee that you have every day.
If you'd like to do something a little more relaxed, you can visit one of the many historic parks in Riverside. A visit to the park is perfect for getting a workout in, relaxing out on the grass, or hosting a family gathering. Thrifting and antiquing is a large source of entertainment for visitors to the Riverside area because there are so many shops to choose from.
People are very welcoming to a vintage shop in this area. A lot of people actually came to us and were thanking us at first, we need this in the area.
Another place you can do some shopping is at the Riverside Arts Market. It takes place every Saturday under the bridge along the St. Johns River from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Arts Market seems to be a representation of the whole Riverside area. Numerous vendors come out to sell and advertise their products. At the market, you will see coffee, clothes, food, plants, vegetables, jewelry, art prints, and so much more being sold. The Riverside area has almost something for everyone. Head over there and check out what they have to offer. Rebecca Hewitt, Inside Jacksonville.
If you need a place to escape from quarantine, Riverside is the place to unwind and relax. The COVID-19 pandemic left millions of Americans unemployed and forced to face a year-long struggle. Inside Jacksonville's Timothy Tomkunis met with a Jacksonville local to show us that tragedy didn't stop her from succeeding.
The COVID-19 pandemic had devastating impacts on industries across the country, and even worse on the people employed in them. One industry that was hit extremely hard was the beauty salon industry. Katie Grogan is a 27-year-old local hairstylist who lost her job at the height of the pandemic, and she said that this past year has been the most terrifying experience of her life.
So it was absolutely terrifying. I was asking my friends and stuff, hey, can you bring food when you come by? Do you have any toilet paper? Things were really, really scary.
Directly before the pandemic, Katie was going through a divorce which she paid for on her own, and when she found herself out of a job, it became increasingly hard to provide for herself. It had gotten so bad, she said that she was canceling doctor's appointments because she could not pay for them.
I've never had to ask for help in my whole life. I've always been self-sufficient. I've been employed since I was 16. So this is the first time in my whole life that I ever had to be afraid of how I was going to make money.
Katie told me that for a while she was trying to find other forms of income, such as delivering food with Grubhub and Postmates, and she was even applying to retail stores such as Target. But ultimately it wasn't enough, and hairstyling was all that she's ever known. She's now working here, renting her own suite at Total Salon Studios on County Road 210. What helped her get to where she is today? She said it was her clients.
I love my clients so much because without them, I wouldn't have been able to even get back. It took me a while, but we're getting back to normal, and they brought me their friends and their families, and so it's really just a blessing that they have stood by me through all of this.
Clients offered to buy her new appliances for her home, pay for future services to make sure she had money in her pockets, and even to buy her groceries. Tim Tomkunis has been a customer of hers for nearly a year, and he says he helps her in any way he can.
So I have 4 kids of my own, and Katie happens to be my oldest daughter's age. So when I see someone like her going through what she is in this rough patch, I felt obligated to help. She's great at what she does. She's very kind, she's very sweet, and basically the best person I've ever had cut my hair. So I hated to see someone like that go through that, so we did what we could to help out.
Robin Miro, another customer and local business owner, also worked to help Katie by showing her how to apply for small business loans from the federal government.
So as a small business owner, when I went through the PPP loan process for myself, I immediately thought of Katie, knowing that she needed some help and guidance, being that she was so young and so naive. We wanted to make sure that we reached out to her and told her what we did and how we got that loan to give her that little extra advantage.
While we all have our own struggles, it's always important to lend a hand to those in need. Timothy Tomkunis, Inside Jacksonville.
Remember that while we all have felt the impacts of COVID-19, it's important to stick together as a community and to help each other however we can. A new decor is taking over residents' front doors on the First Coast. I met with Lee Hamby to talk about his new small business that's creating big smiles. Here are Wreaths by Lee.
I really was like freaking out about how am I going to make money? How am I going to pay bills?
These are some of the questions many people asked themselves after the pandemic hit. Lee Hamby was one of the thousands of people who didn't know where he was going to go next.
The pandemic really took a toll on what I do for a living, which is theater, and a lot of people don't know, but I house and pet sit as well.
Lee would have never guessed that designing and crafting wreaths would be his saving grace. Lee is known to the Jacksonville community as one of the founders of the Five and Dime Theater Company, but now he has a new name, Wreaths by Lee. After discovering the wreath craze on social media, Lee knew he couldn't miss out on his opportunity to make beautiful floral arrangements.
And within an hour of putting that Facebook page up, I had 12 orders, and I thought I was going to make like 4 or 5 wreaths and, pay a bill or 2 and call it a day. I had no idea that people were so in need of wreaths. I was blown away.
Lee explains how a wreath is really just a floral arrangement, meaning there's one for every occasion. Wreaths by Lee took something that was considered only for the holidays and created something so beautiful your front door can't go without one all year long. With wreaths selling like crazy, Lee knew he'd need a partner to help carry some of the load. Josh Andrews joined Lee in his wreath-making journey to help deliver product in Jacksonville.
Just to see people's smile on their face when they get their personalized wreath is it's great. It's just validation, not for me, but for him, that what he's doing is really special.
Since starting in October, Lee has made over 400 wreaths and expanded his business nationally through Etsy.com. The wreaths are made from faux materials, meaning they can hang timelessly on your door. People can't get enough of Wreaths by Lee.
We were outside with the kids, and Josh pulled up, and I was like, "Oh, it's my wreath!" And so I saw it. I was like, "Oh, it's perfect!" So it really works.
Small businesses have been hit hard due to the pandemic, but Lee proves that it takes guts and hard work to reach your goals.
People should shop small business because, small businesses are usually somebody's dream, and supporting that dream is always important.
Every week, Lee posts never-before-seen wreath designs on his Facebook and Etsy page. Both sites can be found by searching Wreaths by Lee. Coming up, how a teacher took the opportunity to give back to her students and community after noticing donations going to waste at her school. Also after the break, exotic animals are making some big roars on the First Coast that you'll be able to hear from miles away. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville. The unfortunate growing number of children who lack access to clean clothes and food led to a passion project that was life-changing. As Inside Jacksonville's Katarina Calbretta explains, educators, counselors, and community support can help children overcome the effects of situational poverty.
What started with unclaimed lost and found items later became a means for schools to help students in need. The Giving Closet Project began back in 2016 when former teacher Jennifer Smith realized the excess of untouched clothing items that sat in her school's lost and found. As a teacher, Smith saw firsthand the hardships that many students and families were faced with.
The Giving Closet Project is a 501c3 that started in 2016 after seeing an increased need of student homelessness and needs for clothing in the schools.
Smith said she originally wanted to have mini closets at multiple schools in Duval County, however, quickly realized it was difficult due to overcrowded schools. She was instead able to partner with Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary and create a hub location for all Duval County students from pre-K through 12th grade.
The most rewarding part about the Giving Closet Project is just seeing the growth that we've made in 4 short years.
Recently, the Giving Closet Project has expanded to George Washington Carver Elementary to expand its services from not only clothes and shoes, but to food and hygienic supplies as well.
Not only do we just do clothing, uniform clothing, street clothing, anything like that with Jennifer, I also have a really cool partnership with the Jewish Federation and Jewish Family and Community Services, who come out and they can provide some food for our kids that we give out weekly for the weekend, and especially over spring break we provided them with a little bit more so they're not going hungry over spring break, but they also provide us with hygiene products as well.
Educators, case managers, social workers, and families can visit the Giving Closet Project website in order to submit a referral for a student in need.
What a lot of people don't realize is that when kids don't have basic hygiene, basic clothing, basic food, their mental health deteriorates. And not only do children's mental health deteriorates, but then families deteriorate as well. Like you see parents coming in who can't provide this stuff for their children. And it's of no fault of their own, but they just can't do it. And then you start seeing them really, really deteriorate a little bit more, and then that causes a ripple effect for the kids as well.
Katerina Calabretta, Inside Jacksonville.
The Giving Closet Project is proud of the growth they have made over the years and hopes to continue to grow in order to reach more children in need. In the meantime, they are actively seeking volunteers to help reach their goals. Some of us only see fossils when we visit museums, but others on the First Coast go out and find them themselves. Inside Jacksonville's Jennifer Ronzon shows us how some locals are teaming up to find the biggest and oldest shark's teeth around.
Fossil hunting is no longer just for paleontologists. Fossil hunting is now a favorite hobby shared by many. The community of explorers spans across social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit, where members exchange tips and finds and arrange meetups for group hunts. Katie Ronzon developed a love for fossil hunting when an instructor at the University of Florida took her class out to Hogtown Creek in Gainesville to look for ancient shark's teeth. Parts of inland Florida, like Gainesville, are gold mines for finding ancient shark's teeth, including megalodon teeth from when the state was covered by water millions of years ago. Megalodons are an extinct shark which lived in prehistoric times. The predator was the largest shark to ever live, growing up to 3 times the size of a great white.
I have been fossil hunting for about 5 years now. I really enjoy the hobby. At this point, I've probably collected about 10,000 shark's teeth over those years. And I think it's a really great community full of really awesome people who are helpful and just good people to be around.
Ancient megalodon teeth, like this one, are coveted by the fossil hunting community. The teeth, which are millions of years old, commonly range from 3 to 6 inches long. Some that have been found have even exceeded 7 inches.
My favorite teeth to find are megalodon teeth. Those are the ones that are the biggest. They come up to like 7 inches, but the biggest one I've found is probably about 3.5 inches. And in Florida, it's kind of hard to find the bigger ones because it's actually known as like the nursery, because sharks would come here to mate and have babies and raise the babies here before they would move out to deeper waters, just because Florida was underwater at the time, but it was shallow waters.
The community of fossil hunters grows every day as people continue to stumble upon their sport. Previously, it wasn't common knowledge that you could find these massive teeth in inland creeks, but with the growth of the community and its presence on social media platforms, interest in the sport is constantly spreading.
I originally went with Katie, and we met up with a group of people from Instagram, and it wasn't what I was expecting. It was actually pretty difficult and like searching for a needle in a haystack. But once you find that one, it's super addicting, and it's a fun hobby and a great little community. Some people can be weird about sharing their secret spots with you at first, but once you get to know them, they can be nice and cool about it.
I'm Jennifer Ronzon with Inside Jacksonville.
To join in on the fun, keep an eye out on social media platforms for a group hunt in your area. Sharks may have thousands of teeth, but a lion's bite is no less terrifying. Inside Jacksonville's Jack Caruso took a day trip to Carson Springs, which offers up-close and personal experiences with some of Animal Kingdom's most well-known members.
Mornings start early for employees of Carson Springs Wildlife Conservation. Copious pounds of fresh vegetables need chopped and meat defrosted. You can't really blame the employees for wanting breakfast to be on time, especially since they are feeding animals that can weigh more than 3 fully grown men. And these animals take breakfast seriously. Very seriously.
Nia!
Carson doesn't just cater to big cats. Numerous other animals call Carson home. Co-founder Barry explains that caring for exotic animals was not as big a change as one might expect.
We've always worked 7 days a week because, we work with racehorses, so you have to be at the barn, early in the morning. So it wasn't that big a change.
Once breakfast is over, there's nothing but playtime and affection for the animals that call Carson home. The animals at Carson seem to love the attention and are very friendly anytime anyone approaches the enclosures. One of Carson's proudest accomplishments is their successful cheetah breeding program. Co-founder Christine explains.
We're one of only a handful of facilities, particularly in our zoo group, that breed cheetahs every year, and they're all paired up based on keeping genetic differences and viabilities.
And we did have one successful breeding, which was really good. So we were happy to have 3 little cheetah babies born here. And our clouded leopards, we've had like 4 clouded leopards born here, which is cool. And the hyenas, we have hyenas that went all different places around the United States, different zoos. They're just, always been my favorite. And they're very, very smart. They can solve problems and stuff. It's really cool to work with them.
Zookeeper Isaiah Jefferson explains.
Spotted hyenas have a terrible image thanks to certain movies and stuff. So Barry gets to prove that wrong and show them just how social and sweet they really can be.
Carson Springs is home to over 100 different animals representing over 30 different rare and exotic species. Although they make it look easy, Carson would like to remind everyone at home that these are wild animals and will not make good pets.
And so each animal has different behaviors, different wants, different needs, and we cater to every one of those. We're totally funded by individual donations, corporate sponsorships, that sort of thing. And people really don't understand how much it costs.
Carson Springs is located just outside of Gainesville, roughly an hour and a half from Jacksonville. They offer group tours on Saturday by reservation and are always accepting donations of fresh produce and household goods like towels, blankets, and stuffed animals. I'm Jack Caruso, reporting for Inside Jacksonville.
When visiting exotic farms, always be cautious as it's easy to forget that these furry animals are wild cats. For more information on how you can get involved or schedule a tour, you can visit Carson Springs' website or their Facebook page. Still to come on this month's edition of Inside Jacksonville, Florida's favorite water animal is making big splashes. We learned about the importance of understanding the manatee and the risks they face. You're watching Inside Jacksonville on the CW17. Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville. Every winter, you can see thousands of birds flying south to escape the cold. But did you know that they aren't the only ones making their way to warmer weather? Darby Emery introduces us to the manatees that make a big portion of these seasonal tours.
This is Crystal River, a collection of freshwater springs, rivers, and 7 manatee sanctuaries that dub this region the manatee capital of the world.
This is a warm water spring here. It's a constant 72 degrees. It's coming from the aquifer beneath our feet. And the manatees depend on this warm water to thermoregulate. Without it, they could actually get cold stress and sometimes even die.
Crystal River has the largest wintering congregation of manatees in the U.S. About 750 manatees come to the area in the winter season, which happens between mid-November and late March. This gathering of manatees means Florida locals and tourists have a bigger responsibility to protect these gentle giants. Since manatees don't have any natural predators, they don't have any real defense mechanisms. The shape of their mouths are only meant for eating grass, and they swim so slowly that if one ran into you, it'd feel like getting bumped by a pillow. In 2017, the manatee status changed from endangered to threatened, and while their current population is a lot higher than it used to be, the 2021 manatee death rate is extremely high. Right now, the death count has already passed 400. This is 3 times higher than the average for this point in the year. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission is still investigating the causes of these deaths, but say that lack of food is a primary factor. This has been the biggest problem in the Indian River Lagoon in Brevard County, about 2 hours south of Jacksonville.
We're calling for people to advocate for the restoration of the lagoon and for more protections for manatees by the agencies that oversee that.
Hunger isn't the only danger facing manatees.
Their largest threat would be actually humans, so we are their number one threat.
The sad truth is that while manatees gravitate towards humans and are happy to interact with us, human activity presents all kinds of risks to their overall health and safety. This is where manatee sanctuaries come in.
There's areas that are roped off that allow the manatees a safe place to rest undisturbed from swimmers and from boats and anything else that can disturb them in the water when they need to conserve energy. They'll go into those sanctuaries. They know that they're a safe place to rest.
Whether you're a Florida local or just visiting, the best ways to help manatees are by respecting their habitat. Keep the springs clean by throwing away your trash properly, follow all waterway signs, and stay out of shallow feeding areas. Darby Emery, Inside Jacksonville.
Florida Fish and Wildlife and Save the Manatee Club have resources on their websites for more information on protecting manatees, as well as who to report to if you see a manatee that may be injured. Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Inside Jacksonville. If you missed anything from today's program, just visit our website, unftv.com, and look under the Digital Journalism tab, where you'll find expanded versions of our stories, photos, interviews, and other extras. Again, that's unftv.com. You can also find us on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at InsideJacksUNF. From all of us here at Inside Jacksonville, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month right here on the CW17.